Hello, people. Welcome to Sunday Comic Investment Chat. Beautiful day. Beautiful sunny day. Natural light. Can't beat it. Welcome. It's Sunday mornings, 8:45-ish. Got my black coffee here. I'm not sure how many people will be watching it, but you can always watch it on rewind or on the podcast. I think a lot of people don't understand the concept, I think, of the podcast because whenever I load a podcast, the way Podbean, hello, Mastodon Comics, a lot of time every time I load a podcast, Podbean also load um, a audio video version on Google with a link that you can download and listen to the podcast later. So I think a lot of people play back the podcast uh, and watch the video and listen to the audio. To me, the easier way to do it is just download the audio if you prefer to skip the video because there's no video. It's just basically the audio playing on YouTube. But um, I think a lot of people do it that way instead of downloading the podcast. So my advice for those that really want to utilize the podcast to its fullest is to subscribe to my Podbean. If you go to Podbean and search up ETA Nick, you see my channel there with probably a dozen different podcasts over the past 6 months. And you can download it and listen to in your car while driving or whatever. It's a better format and it certainly will not use up your data. Okay, if you are uh, traveling or in your car or something, it uses a lot less data to listen to the podcast via Podbean instead of watching the YouTube video. Anyhow, welcome. It's Sunday. Um, for sure, there will be no Avengers Endgame spoiler discussion. Okay, so please, people, don't put any spoilers in the comments because there are people watching it, and let's not spoil for those that have not seen the movie. I have, and I enjoyed the movie. I did not give a rating in the movie. For me, hello Joker 68 Kurt. For me, it's really hard to give a fair rating of a movie right away because a movie need time to sink in as well as you know rewatchability is a big factor for me. One reason why I don't give a lot of superhero movie high marks. I give many movies 7.5 out of 10 because most of them I don't care to watch more than once. I don't care how good they were. Or it's they For the most part they're entertaining. I enjoy it, but it's not like um, Hello Charlton 66. It's not as if a lot of these movies are something that I care to watch over and over and over. There are movies that I can watch 1,000 times and I love it and will rewatch it many, many times. Those get higher mark like 8 or 9 or 10. But for many movies that I enjoyed, but I only seen once or have no desire to see a second time, it's not gonna get an 8 or higher out of 10. It's gonna get something in the 7 or lower, okay? And that's where many superhero movie fell. It's just like Shazam. We saw the family we saw Shazam last weekend. We did not do a review. We did a review, but my camera died, or there's a big problem with my camera that I had been using the same camera for the majority of the videos. And I think it's on its last leg because it has all kind of problems. I have problem turning it on. I have problem recording. I have problem turning it off. So I'm looking for a replacement as of right now. I spent the early part of this morning on the internet, watching reviews of all kind of different camera, because after 6 plus years on YouTube and 2,000 videos, it's time for a replacement. It's dying, very close to being dead altogether. Mastodon, I agree with you. I need to see Infinity Endgame again. There's a lot of part that I either miss, or I'm sure I missed many little things here and there, because there's a lot of things that went on in the movies that I'm just like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? What did I miss? Sure, I did step out for about 3 minutes for a quick bathroom break, but I don't think I miss a lot that, and regardless, it's definitely a movie I want to see again. So right there, it get a mark higher than a 7 out of 10. Anytime where I see a movie and I want to see it again and it's worth seeing again, then the grading is higher. Shazam, I seen it once, and for me and the rest of my family, there is little desire to see it. It's the decent movie. I don't have any kind of high expectation or anything like that. There's a lot of chatters for the last couple of weeks that Shazam was a modern day Big. That movie Big, the one with Tom Hanks in his early days, which I love. I love Big. Big is a wonderful, heartwarming movie. I have seen Big many, many, many times. Is Shazam even close to being a modern day Big? Hell no. Hell no. Not even close, okay? Like I said, I would rather sit down and watch Big a million times over before I watch Shazam again. No. So for some people, Shazam is the jam, okay? And that's okay. Like I said, when it comes to movies, I always find it puzzling that people get so riled up because other people disagree with their opinion. Well, guess what? If you love Shazam, good for you. If you want to watch Shazam a million times, good for you. Guess what? The rest of the world disagree. Live with it. um, but it's Sunday comic investment talk, so let's talk about comic investment. One of the things that all of us in this hobby will be watching very closely, of course, is Iron Man 55, right? We'll see. I have talked about this book and predicted that the book will see a slight downturn, but then most likely will flatline. It's not going to crash because too much money have been built into this book in the last 9 years. Yeah, right? Was it 9 years or eight? 8 years, okay, 8 or 9 years. But a lot of money have been put into this book in the last 8 plus 9 years that I think is not going to crash. Okay, when you have so much money built up um, on the book like this, I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, I would be like many people. Um, I will be watching it closely to see, where I sold my copy. I had a 9.8, sold that. I had a 9.4, sold that. I have a raw copy to enjoy, which is about, I think my raw copy is about a 9.0 ish, which I bought for a very reasonable price. We'll see. But yeah, I bought my 9.8 copy raw for cheap, make good money, no complaint here. My 9.4 copy also bought for a lot less. So I made great profit on both books. No complaint. When it comes down to investments of any sorts, whether it's stocks, mutual funds, real estate, it's human. It's very human to sell something and to see it go higher and then to have some kind of seller remorse, should have hold on to it a little bit longer, should have hold out a little bit longer. It's natural. Okay, it's absolutely natural. All right, but I have talked about this so many times in a few videos that one of the key to be a successful stock traders or flippers of comic books or of any sort, house, you name it, is be able to take the profit and move along and not look back. Okay, looking back and seeing things that could have, should have, coulda, shoulda, all that stuff do no good. If you bought something with the goal to make X amount of money and you made it, take the money, say thank you, and move on to the next opportunities. There is nothing can be gained. Absolutely nothing can be gained from sitting around and say shoulda, coulda, woulda, or blah blah blah. Nothing. Absolutely zero. Okay, because if you are in this game long enough, if you trade stock long enough, there are plenty of time that I sold way too early, and then there's plenty of time where I sold something just at the right time, only to see that stock crash and burn later. And I said to myself, "Whoo! I got out at the right time." There's plenty. Okay, if you're in the game long enough, you understand that there will be many chances that you did the right thing, and there are plenty of occasions that you got out too early. Okay, that's part of the game. There's nothing to beat yourself over it. Okay, I have seen people beat themselves up. Oh, I missed out on this stock. I should have bought Apple at 150. Now it's 200. You missed it. Move on. There's other opportunities to be had. You know, the more time you spend wallowing in failures, in missed opportunities, is going to be less time to look at new opportunities. Okay, I cannot harp on this enough that if you miss on something, move along. There is no point on rehashing, beating yourself up. And this is one of those human traits that is god awful. Every time someone asks me, you know, what I want to become a stock trader, how do I do it? How should I approach being a stock trader? Because I see that you've been doing it for a long time. And one of my very first question is, how do you handle this type of scenario? Are you the type that's gonna sit there and wallow in self-pity? Then no, don't go into stock trading, please. All you do is invite more nonsense into your life, because you are going to be sitting there wallowing in self-pity daily. So it takes a certain personality to be successful in the speculation game with the stock market. And the same, yes, the same can be said with comic books. Okay, a lot of people, one of the toughest thing to do for stock trader is selling winners. Okay, when you bought a stock and it runs so high, so fast, it is so hard to let go. So hard. But when you buy a stock with a certain target in mind, like I'm buying it at 150, and when it gets to 200, that's the exit point. Well, when you get to 200, you better be disciplined. Discipline is a big part of successful trading, not about emotion, not about clinging on to something. Okay, so that's one of the things that um, is tough for a lot of traders, moi included. Okay, it's human to sit there and say, gee, I bought this so low, now it is so high, it will go higher. I'm hoping it can go higher. so I can hold on to it a little bit longer. Hope is not part of a winning formula. Charlton 66. I trade my Iron Man 55 to help me acquire Tale of Suspense 39. Good for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Morning, Todd. Todd Holbeck is here. Good as Gold is here as well. Um, let's see. Good as Gold said, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for not liking Endgame. I'm guilty of liking all movies, but Endgame has too many issues. That's okay. Nothing wrong with not liking something that other people love. Hey, you talking to a guy that most likely dislike or didn't like many Marvel movies more than other people. I can tell you, if you follow my channel and watch my reviews, the majority of Marvel movies get a 7.5 out of 10 from me. I have never been one of those fanboy that's just like, it's a comic book movie. Be thankful you have one because, oh my God, I spent 35 years in the hobby and there was never any movie. So, oh my God, oh, how can you? If a movie is shit, it is shit. Stop it. You're not 12 years old. Oh my God. Whenever I see a fanboy that get all riled up because, oh my God, we are living in some kind of like time where, if you say something bad about superhero movie, ruin it for some other people. No, it's a movie. Get over it. If it's shit, it's shit. So yes, let a good reminder. Please don't spoil anything in the movie if you haven't seen. I'm sure some people that watch this live chat have not seen the movie, so be respectful. Let's not spoil for other people. I have not said anything that will consider spoilers. I probably will shoot a spoilers review sometime today. There's no rush, and there are a million YouTube videos out there of people spoiling, reviewing this movie. Do you need another one from me? Not really. It's not that important, right? But outside of Iron Man 55, there is a bunch of other books that I will be watching closely. Is all the books that people hype and pump on um, the storyline, the Infinity storyline. Oh my God, trust me, whenever I hear people pump and hype and talk up the Infinity storyline books, I'm just like, oh, how, why? Have we, the sad reality, okay? The sad reality is that there's new people enter the hobby every day. Okay, so there's a lot of new people that just are not very familiar with the landscape of the spec game at all. Okay, what frustrates me is when I see new people entering this hobby that don't want to listen to me. Okay, because hey, I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not saying things to prop them up. But okay, go ahead and do what you want to do and see how bad it's going to turn out because it's we have seen this happen all the time, many times over. Is that one of the worst spec books out there is what? Storylines. Oh my God, storyline, Days of Future Past, you name it. The Dark Phoenix saga. I love the Dark Phoenix saga, but please, specs on the storyline is one of the worst thing that you can do. Okay, do I need to show how X-Men 141 and 142 crash and burn? Is it news? But for new people, it is news, but it's not news for them because they are so inundated with watching and focusing on the channels that are propping up their views, right? Because the reality of this hobby is, or life in general, is that people don't want to hear negative things, okay? And sometimes the truth, the truth can be viewed as negative if it is in contradiction of your belief. Okay, sometimes the truth is just the truth. It's had nothing to do with being negative. But no, people don't want to hear the truth, right? They want to hear things that prop them up. You're wonderful. You're great. People, the adults in this hobby sometimes have the mentality of a 10-year-old. Okay, you say nice things to 10-year-old to prop them up. If you're a 40-year-old man, do you need to listen to YouTube channels that say the right things to make you feel better? That's the world we live in. Yes. Uh, Todd asked, "How do I like Game of Thrones?" I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Game of Thrones tomorrow. I would say that I anticipate tomorrow episodes as much as I anticipated Endgame. Uh, it's gonna be bananas. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. is going to be banana. Mike R asks, "Can you tell the difference between CGC 9.6 and 9.8?" For the most part, the answer is yes. It's not random luck. No, no. You know, for me, I have submitted and got well over 600 9.8 Bronx um, books. So I spent a lot of time screening my books. And part of me submitting that many books, especially Bronx book, is that, I also know that a lot of these books are not worth the money to slap if they're not 9.8. So I submit a lot of books with pre-screening so that if it's not 9.8, don't bother. I pay the fine dollar, return the book to me. I sell it raw. So when I submit and got 600 plus 9.8, I use pre-screening a lot of time, and I think my failures rate is very low. Like, out of like 50 books or so, if I submit to get 9.8 screening, maybe 2 or 3 will be rejected. So I'm pretty good at grading and screening my own books to make sure that I get 9.8. So it's not random luck. It's random luck if you don't know how to grade. Okay, it's not. Don't take that as an insult to you, but there is a way to grade books to make sure that you get 9.8 or 9, or a book is not a 9.8. There is not random luck. There is no such thing. Okay, it's there are books that should be 9.8 and only get 9.6, and there are books that are 9.6 that got 9.8. There are. Okay, grading is not an exact science. You can say this about any grades. Doesn't have to be 9.6 or 9.8. There are a ton of books in every grade that people would disagree on. So if you think 9.6 and 9.8 is random luck, well, guess what? If you step out of the 9.6 and 9.8 range and look at 7065, there are a ton of books in 6.5 that should be 7, and a ton of books that are in 7.0 slab that should be 6.5 based on many others' opinions. So it is not random luck. It is what it is. I don't agree with the random luck opinion, whoever believe in those whatsoever. None whatsoever. I mean, you know, I have used CGC now, and for over 10 years, I submitted, God no, I don't even want to count, but a lot. And I got a lot of 9.8s. I got a lot. My gradings accuracy with CGC submission is tend to be pretty good. Um, I'm don't I don't really worry about. Sure, there are times that I'm off by one. It's rare that I'm off by two. Okay, it's very rare. It happens. Sometimes I miss a flaws here and there. I have done that where I miss a slight moisture damage in a corner or something. Um, it happens. Uh, Batcave is here for his love of Batman. Yes. No, no. As far as books that back to the how did I get sidetrack is that I'm gonna be very interested to see what happened to all those books that dealt with the storyline, the Infinity Stone, all that stuff. I Good luck. Okay, if you make money flipping all those Infinity related storyline book, good for you. If you're buying those books because you think it's gonna be some kind of good investment, we'll see. My hunch is that it's not a good investment, but time will see. We will see in time how those books pan out because if history has shown its ugly head in the past few years, is that storylines are one of the worst, probably just as worse as villains. When you speculate on villains and they get killed off by the end of the movie, very shortly those books crash and burn, like Apocalypse, you name it, Malekith. There's a lot of villain that doesn't matter. Now, if a villain is an A-level villain, okay, that's a different story. A-level villain, does it matter what happened to the Joker? Does it matter if the Joker is in another movie? Has Doom been any good in the Fantastic Four movie? Does it matter? When it comes to villain, okay, there are certainly different tier of villain. Okay, there is no comparison to like the Joker, Doctor Doom. Okay, but there are many villains that is just not going to get a whole lot of bump because of the movies. How many times has Magneto appeared in the X-Men movies? I am tired of Magneto in the movie. So tired of him. So over Magneto. I love Magneto, but please, do I need to see him in every X-Men movie? Ridiculous. Talk about unoriginality. Okay, it's just nonsense. Uh, I can't stand how Fox dealt with the X-Men franchise for years now. For years, cannot stand it. I mean, there are two X-Men movie that was decent. Days of Future Past is one of them. But for the rest of the X-Men movie, one and done. One and forever done with me. They are not good in any sort. Any sort. Um, Good as Gold asks, will the Joker movie boost Joker cover price? I have no idea. Okay, I think Tech 880 is a classic cover already. Um, I I think that book is gonna be forever uh, love because it's a classic covers. You know, one of the thing that um, is a good investment. I just look at the clock. It's 8:18, so I got another 20 minutes or so. One of the things that are good investment that I think a lot of people don't talk enough about is classic covers. Okay, classic covers does not have to be first introduction of any characters. There are many books that came out and become classic instantly. Okay, classic covers does not have to be something that develop over time. There are, but I think many people see classic cover as something that happened almost instantly. Like Batman, Detective 880 is one. If you go back in time, Batman 227, that swipe of Detective 31 is an instant classic. Instant classic. A lot of people love that cover right away. Um, so classic covers are always decent investment. For example, another example I can throw out there is Silver Surfer issue 4. Okay, that classic battle cover of Thor and the Silver Surfer. Beautiful cover. I think regardless of who you are, you will look at that cover and love it because it's a beautiful drawing and it's considered a classic cover. And that book is worth more than issue 3, which is the first introduction of Mephisto, which is also another awesome cover, right? But there's something so awesome about issue 4 that the market is willing and has priced it higher than issue 3, even though issue 3 is the introduction of Mephisto, a B level villain. He's not A. I'm sure some people will get all riled up. No, he's an A. Okay, if you believe so, right? But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to investment ideas, as people ask me, it's a lot. I don't know everything. I don't know all the books that are considered good investment, but I know for sure classic covers are always a good place to put your money in if you can find a good copy for cheap. I'm never the type to go out there and tell people go and pay up for the highest grade. No, that's never any kind of good investment advice. Okay. Um, Green Lantern 76 is a classic cover that has been loved. Now, that one has not done um, great as far as good investment. It's there are a lot copy of that book. Um, and that book has, it's not like it's horrible investment, but it's not a great investment because it has been loved for a long time, and it's a solid investment. It's a good book to own, but it's not, if you're in it for like where can I get the best bang for my buck, I would say Green Lantern 76 is not anywhere in the top 10 or 20 or 30 of Bronze Age, nowhere near the top. If you go back and look at the prices over the past 10 years, I think Green Lantern 76 probably offer worse returns than many books like Hulk 181. uh, Todd Holbeck asks, is there a website you use that mention total print run of a book? Um, there is a website called Comic-Con. Comic-Con. I believe TiVo had the person that run the site or the person that create the site on one of his chat last month. Go check out Lord of the Long Box chat, and I think you will see Comic-Con owner on there discussing how he collect print run data for books in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, all that stuff. It's there. It's not complete. Okay, the site is not like you can go and look at Batman and look at the print run of every year. It's not. Okay, it's not. But if you own a full run of Batman, you can figure that out yourself, because every year they print the circulation data in the book. That every year in any title, every year there is an issue that will print the circulation number for that title for the previous 12 months. Okay, every title has that. So if you are a run collectors that have a full run of Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or Batman or whatever it is, you should be able to dig out the data yourself without going to Comic-Con and see what was the print run of that particular title. Okay, so it can be done. Batcave say this common sense thing. Yes, if you are buying something for investment reason, you should also try to buy books that you like artistically. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that statement. I think most people do that anyway. I think there are people that, me included. Okay, I buy things that contain things that I don't care one bit about because it was a good investment and I flip it for money later. There's nothing wrong with that. It's easier to buy something that contain arts or characters that you love, because then if you decide to keep it, there's a reason to keep it, right? So there's the hobby is different for a lot of different people. Okay, not everybody is in it for the stories, not everybody is in it for the art, not everybody is in it for the characters. These days, who knows why many people are in it. Certainly a lot of people are in it for the money, more so today than ever. Okay, I'm sure, like it or hate it, what I just said is a true statement. Okay, you might find it to be distasteful or horrible. Oh my God, he's saying more people are in this hobby for the money than ever. That's the truth. Just look at YouTube. What is the most popular thing that people can't get enough of? Videos about specs, right? Not this kind of stuff. There's no specs talk here, right? It's investment talk, but I'm not giving out advice on what's the hot specs book I can buy today. If I put out a video on top specs book to buy and put out nothing, it's a blank, zero, no content video, I guarantee you it will get 5 times more clicks than this. Okay, that's the reality of the hobby today. Okay, people are all riled up on the spec stuff, and that's okay. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, that's one of the things that whenever I hear people get a little bit upset or annoyed, what can I do? The only thing that I can do is do what I do. Make the videos that I'm happy to make. Make the videos, talk about the contents, the issues that I want to discuss. And if other people enjoy hearing it, discussing it, that's fine. That's cool. I just don't need to follow the herd and talk about specs book. The sad reality of the hobby is, there is, in my view, I could be completely wrong. In my view, there is zero accountability of people talking about specs book. There's zero accountability that they are wrong. There are zero accountability that they are hyping up something that turned out to be a horrible investment. Okay, everyone just listen to the specs book, loving it, hyping it, and then when things go bad 3 months later, let's move on to the next book to hype to talk about, because let's just forget. It is just so much of that going on that it's ridiculous. I mean, one of the old wise saying that those that didn't learn from their mistakes are bound to repeat them, and that's what's going on. There are people that are just not helping themselves one bit, because they are so addicted is the right word, addicted to the spec game, even if they are a failure at the spec game. Okay, the spec game, the speculation game, just like the stock trading game, is not a game that produce winners for everyone. Not everybody wins. Okay, that's the reality. Let's make it very clear. Not everybody can win at spec, whether it's stock trading, of comic books, or house. It's not a game that people can play. And when you see a person leave the hobby, that's when they fail. Because if you are all riled up on specs, if you are all in watching specs video and you can't get enough and you're loving it, all of a sudden 8 months later you're gone, then you know what happened to those kind of viewers, right? It's I'm not worried about them watching this channel. Oh, it's nothing fun here. It's nothing here to boost your self-image or self-confidence. All Nick does is point out the negativity. Yes, one of the common saying that they also toss out, right, is do your homework. Well, I wish the channels that pump and hype all these specs book will report their homework as well. That's what I'm saying. It's just like it's easy to talk up everything, and then it's also throw out do your homework at the end of the video so that it cover your ass. That's like someone throw out a crappy grade on a book on eBay. Oh, this book is near mint, but I'm not a professional grader. Okay, so that cover my lousy grading skills. That's what I think about all the do your homework comments at the end of many of these videos. It's cover their asses as if like, listen to what I'm saying, but I could be wrong. Could be. How about constantly? Todd asked, how do I take my coffee? Black is the night. Yes, I prefer black coffee. I love the bitter taste of it. I like bold, strong flavor. Okay, I'm not the French roast. I'm like the dark roast kind of guy. It's 9:30 something, so I got about 10 more minutes to go before I say bye-bye and get ready for brunch. It's gotta be bacon and eggs and toast and all that good stuff. Yes, a foam poster. I love Alex Ross and Fiona Staple, an artist from Modern. I like Fiona Staple as well. I mean, I bought the Saga for the first time last year and read through the first 32 issues. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art. It's definitely beautiful. I mean, the covers of the Saga books are gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so I am excited that they are only halfway through the series. That's what I heard. I heard that they are only halfway, so it's a good thing. So I'm waiting to, I'm not gonna be buying Saga the individual issue unless I can buy like a big lot for cheap. But I will probably pick up the trades whenever the season, the series is over in 2 years or 3 years, whenever that is. Then I will buy the trade to finish up the stories that I started with the first 32 issues or so. Uh, but yes, as far as coffee, I drink. It's not to say that I don't drink other coffee. Okay, occasionally, I would treat myself to a nice mocha. I like a nice. For me, it's more like a dessert. Okay, if I'm out and about after dinner and I feel like a good dessert, but instead of like eating a dessert like a piece of pie or cake or ice cream, I go to Starbucks and get myself a nice mocha because it's sweeter than just black. So yeah, I'm not always just black, but the 90%, if not 95% of the time, it's just black coffee. 3 times a day, I drink one, and I drink one after lunch, and I drink one after dinner. Okay, that's my 3 coffee a day. Iron Galactus said, "Do you think Saga One, that's the variant, right, will drop below 2K? It could, it could. I mean, just look at the Walking Dead. The Walking Dead issue one, for those that follow the market, has been in serious trouble in the past 2 years. That book peaked out over 3,000 ish, right? And then it has struggled to stay around 2,000 in the past year and a half or so. I have not followed that book closely in the past few weeks or few months, but I know the last couple auctions and at Comic Link, that book has struggled. Okay, the last 2 or 3 months at Comic Link, if you look at Walking Dead #1. So when it comes to moderns, I think it go to ebbs and flows. Certainly, if Saga is ever picked up by Amazon Prime or Netflix 2 or 3 years from now, certainly you will see a spike in that book. So I don't own it. I don't plan to ever own it. I own a couple Saga One. Um, I do have Saga One 9.8 in a slab that I got from CGC recently, and I plan to keep that. But I think it's such a wonderful story, a rich story. I can see why it is an expensive series to be made. But with anything, as time go on, it get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to make a TV series with a lot of CGI. So, can it be affordable to do in 2 or 3 years? And then the book get a huge bump? Absolutely. Amazon is spending $1 billion, yes, $1 billion on a series with based on Lord of the Ring, and those that series have a ton of CGI, right, with all the hobbits and all the creatures and all that stuff. Okay, so it's a lot of money. So can Amazon or Netflix throw $1 billion at Saga? It's not out of the realm of possibility, right? Sure, Saga is not Lord of the Ring. It's not Tolkien. So I'm not saying that somebody's going to do it right now. But if the cost of producing Saga is 200 millions instead of $1 billion, say 2 or 3 years from now, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Saga will make it to the small screen as a series on either Netflix or Amazon Prime. Sci-fi, fantasy is always in high demand, in my opinion. Okay, that's why regardless of how much people hate all the superhero stuff, the Star Wars stuff, it's the genre is here, the demand is here. So I can see Saga being a hot thing down the road, hotter than it is now. Okay, if I want to buy an FF5, ooh, that's a tough one. That book is not going to be cheap. Okay, my advice for people that want to buy an FF5, I don't really have a good advice for that, to be honest, because the book might cool off a little bit right now because the FF is not in the immediate future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? But at the same time, Doctor Doom is no doubt in the top five greatest villain of all time, in my opinion. I'm sure some people say he's number six in my book. Doctor Doom is not top five. He's in the top five in my book. So he's one of those characters that he does not need the movie to be popular. He does not need the movie to go up. So I don't know. I don't know when is a good time to buy because it's an expensive book. Okay, it's not a cheap book by any means. So I, you know, is it a book that will get more expensive? Yes. Can you get lucky by a book slightly lower than fair market value? Keep bidding on Comic Link. When there is an auction, throw out a bid and see if you can get lucky. Bid something near GPA, and see if you can get lucky that way. It's not a book that I'm going to say, oh, you're going to be able to find that book in a garage sales or a yard sales or a flea market. Eh, it's not a book you can find for cheap. And anyone that own a copy of FF5 know what they have for the most part, and they're not going to let it go for cheap. Okay, it's not a cheap book to get. So I say, it's one of those books where it would be a book that you need to man up if you want to own a copy, especially if you're looking for a 4.0 or 5.0. Woo! It get awful expensive in that grade range. Okay, so yes, if you want to own that book in the 4 or 5 grade range, you're gonna have to man up one of these days. And if you get lucky, you might get something at GPA. Uh, Todd Hobeck asked, "Is GPA a tool I feel is worth the money?" Yeah, for me, because I sell a lot of slabs. No, I don't personally sell a lot of slab. I consign a lot of my slab to the auction house to sell. But I use GPA to determine if a book is slab worthy. If I have a book that I think by looking at GPA, I can see that this book in this particular grade is gonna fetch 200 or more. Then I will slab it and send it to a Comic Link to be auctioned off. That's how I use GPA. I also use GPA as a guide to buy something. For those that know how I operate, if I see a raw book, okay, uh, if I saw a raw book and in that particular grade, in a slab, it can fetch $300. But as a raw, I can buy on eBay for $100. You bet, I will buy that raw book every time I see something like that. If I see a GPA price to be twice or three times the value of that raw book that I can buy on eBay, you bet I will go. So I use GPA quite often, okay, in buying and selling. For the $10 or whatever it is that they charge, I don't pay attention. I sign up and it automatically renew every month. Um, and then I have canceled GPA in the past. There was downtime in my past 10 years where I didn't buy and sell anything for a year. That happened once. There was a 1 year span, almost a year, more almost like 9 months or so, back in 2012, I think, that I didn't buy or sell anything, barely anything. So I did cancel GPA for those 8 or 9 months, and then I renew my membership again as soon as I am active in buying and selling again. So it's worth it. How relevant is Overstreet these days? I think Overstreet is relevant in that if you buy and read the market commentary by the dealers, okay, those are kind of always good to read. I always enjoy reading the market commentaries because it kind of gives you the idea of what the dealers are seeing. That being said, the dealers are not everything. The dealers are not the market, right? So, I take it for what it is. I don't everything that I see or read, whether it's GPA or Overstreet, I take that as information that are useful but not complete. Okay, that's the best advice I can give to people. Is nothing is complete. None of us are in access to complete information about this market. Okay, and so it's very, that's what make the market very profitable for a lot of people, is the more incomplete the the information are out there, the more opportunities for mispricing that people can take advantage of to make money. Okay, that's the reality. The reality is a lot of people don't know what they have, don't know how to grade. They undergrade their books, they underprice their books, and that's where a lot of people that know what they're doing or are good or savvy with being able to buy something online can take advantage of. Okay, so it's 9:45. It's time for me to go. Um, Thank you for joining me. I'm not sure if I will have one next week. I will have the comic investment chat once a month at the minimum. Once a month, definitely not weekly. It's something I cannot do weekly. I don't have time for this, and plus, it's not enough interesting thing to talk about on a weekly basis, right? There's only so much ETA Nick you can deal with. Have a good Sunday. For those that are going to go see the movie today, hopefully you enjoy it. Like I said, not everybody think it's the best movie ever. I have heard plenty of people tell me that they were disappointed. It is what it is. If you're disappointed, you're disappointed. I'm not going to be the kind of person that try to convince you that you should like the movie more. If you're disappointed, you're disappointed. It's okay. It's okay to be disappointed. Last but not least, Batman comic point out that a phantom downvoter. No, I know who that downvoter is. He thumbs down every videos that I have for the past many years. It's okay. Nothing I can do about it. He's just somebody that are jealous of this channel. He's jealous of everything. Pathetic. Nothing I can do about it. And I have out him many times. If you watch my channel, I have mentioned his name many times because he is such a loser. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Enjoy your Sunday. Time for me to make bacon, eggs, and toast. Bye bye.